Hello, my name is Lindsay and I will be leading you through a Yin Yoga class today. I am with Merritt Clubs and we will be doing a 60-minute class and we'll get started in a few moments. You are going to need some props for this, so I'm going to give you a couple moments to get yourself situated and then we'll get started. So what I will ask you to get today is if you have yin props, if you have a bolster, if you have blankets, blocks, that's awesome. If you don't, what I would like you to grab are 2 paper towel rolls, and it's actually okay if they're still in the package, individually sealed, that can work as well. So we're going to use 2 of these. You can also get creative and, if you're going to take these yin classes every Saturday, you can also grab these and kind of wrap them in a towel or a blanket, but grab 2 of these, and I would love you to have any sort of towel or blanket that we're going to fold up in a moment, and also grab a pillow. So you can grab 1, you can grab 2, you can grab couch cushions. The more the merrier. If you don't need them, fine, but at least you have them there. So if you want to go grab those props, and we'll get started in about 60 seconds. And yes, I will kind of tell you how we're starting. So go ahead, and if you are not doing this class live right now, you can always pause the video and go get your props and then come on back. And if you are looking to take Yin Yoga every week, I would really advise you to bring some props with you. It's really nice to just help the body to get into poses that can really support our spine, can support our muscles, our connective tissue, all of that. So what I want you to do is we're not going to use the blanket or the towel quite yet, but we're going to make it into a little bit of a bolster. So I've got actually a yoga blanket here, but it doesn't really matter what you've got, whether it's a blanket or the towel. We're going to make a little bolster. So what I want you to do is you're going to fold your blanket or your towel, and you're going to make kind of like a little bolster. So a long and thin support with the towel or the blanket you got, and you want it to be, have a little thickness. So if you've got a towel and it's not too thick, you can always grab 2 towels and then fold them in together. But again, we're not going to use this quite yet, but I do want you to have this ready. So again, you've got your pillow, you've got your paper towel rolls, and all that good stuff. All right, so we are going to start today in a supported fish pose. So how we're going to do this, and if you've never taken yin before, we will be holding the postures anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. And what you want to do is you want to get into the pose so you feel sensation. And then once you feel that sensation, you want to support your body so you can rest there for a length, again, 2 to 5 minutes. So coming into a supported fish pose, we're going to take a paper towel roll, and we're going to come onto our backs, and we're going to place the towel roll right at the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. So let me come onto my mat, lower down so you all can see. All right, so you want to bring that paper towel roll right at the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. And then you're going to lay yourself down. Now, if it's comfortable, you can just rest your head down on the mat. If you want, you can grab that pillow, which I'm actually going to do, and I'm going to rest my head on the pillow. And then you can either keep the feet on the floor with the knees bent, you can extend the legs out, or if you want to get into the hips, you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall wide. But I'm going to start with my legs extended out, and we're going to be here for about 5 minutes. Just connecting and settling in. So we'll bring the arms out to the sides. And again, if you're still getting comfortable, take all the time you need. But when you find that place, begin to close down the eyes. And take a moment here to notice how you feel in your body. And allow everything to relax. Soften the muscles around the eyes. Smooth out the brow and the forehead. Release the jaw. Feel the back of the head root down into either the mat or the pillow. Allow the shoulders to sink. The heart gently open here, using that support beneath you. the arms, hands, the fingers. Allow the hips and the legs to be heavy. Relaxing through the feet, the ankles, and softening the body as a whole. Letting everything melt. Noticing where you're holding tension. If you find a place that feels tight or sticky, just breathe into that space and let everything go. With the eyes closed, begin to come into your breath practice. And if you practice vinyasa or any other type of yoga, you might be familiar with Ujjayi pranayama, which is a slight constriction in the back of the throat. And if you practice that, feel free to come into that now, but we're going to make this a more gentle breath. So deep but slow and soft, allowing the breath to truly nurture the body. And today we'll work with trying to lengthen out our exhales. So you can do this by counting or not. See if you can make the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale. So I like to inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 6. But if that doesn't work for you, just any breath that does. When we lengthen our exhale, it helps us to relax, activate our parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. But most importantly, just breathe. If you would like to set a yin practice, an intention for your yin practice, you can do so now. We're going to be here for about another minute, so if you want to make this a little deeper, maybe you move the support under your head if it's there, and allow the heart and the chest to open a little deeper. And just breathe here, softening and melting. Notice where the mind is. Whenever you find yourself lost in thought, just allow those thoughts to pass. Let them go. Come back to the breath. And lengthening that exhale. Take 3 more breaths here. And then if the legs are straight, we'll bend the knees. And then slide the arms by the sides. Gently lift up and move the paper towel roll or whatever prop you have to the side. Gently hug the knees in and rock yourself a little side to side. Little bit of movement between our poses. And circle the knees, taking a couple circles in each direction. Switch directions if you're taking those circles. All right, and then set the feet down. For our next pose, we're going to come into a supported butterfly pose on our backs. So you are going to want for this probably all of your props, both paper towel rolls, your bolster, and your pillow. So what we're going to do is we are going to place our bolster, our rolled up towel or blanket, in the middle of the mat, and we're going to rest our spine on here. So you want to bring your hips right up against the edge of the whatever it is, blanket, towel, and you're going to lean yourself back over it. And then if your blanket goes to your head, you can rest your head down. If not, you'll grab your pillow and rest your head down on that. And then you'll bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees fall wide, and you're going to take the paper towel rolls and you're going to slide them underneath the thighs. We're going to be here for about 4 minutes. So the closer the rolls are in, the less intense you'll feel this on the hips. The further out they are, the more intense. If you've got open hips, you might even consider moving the towels all together and just letting gravity pull the knees down. But find a place that feels good so you feel a nice stretch, but it's not too much. And then we'll cactus the arms if that feels good. So bending the elbows, palms face up, backs of the hands down, and then with all of these poses, once you get into the pose, wiggle yourself around for a moment to get comfortable. But once you find that comfortable position, see if you can really rest in stillness. Finding stillness with the body and finding stillness with the mind. And then close the eyes. Take a quick scan. Where can you release tension? What can you allow to soften? And just melt. I'll let you know when we're about halfway through our poses so you can make any adjustments. And feel free whenever you need to come out of the pose altogether. Child's pose is an option or any other restful pose. Never pushing past your limits. So you should not feel pain, feel sensation, but any pulling or really painful sensations in the body you want to come out of. And again, lengthen your exhale. Focus the mind on the sensations of the breath and the sensations in the body. If you want to go in a little deeper, you can take the paper towel rolls maybe all the way to the outsides of the knees, or again, you can remove them all together. We'll be here for a couple more minutes. Yin Yoga can also be a nice time to play some gentle, calming music in the background. So if you've got something that you enjoy listening to, maybe something without even words, you can always put that on. Make your space as restful as possible. If you have essential oils, you can use some of those. Dim the lights. Create a sanctuary wherever you are. Feel the belly and the chest rise as you inhale. Soften and sink as you exhale. Last few deepest breaths here. And then we'll bring the hands outside the legs. We want to come out of the poses just as slowly as we come in. So gently draw the knees in. Roll off your bolster, come onto your side, and then use your hand to press yourself up to a seated pose. So come on up nice and slowly. We'll move our props. And we will come into our first seated pose. We're going to come into half butterfly pose. And what I will encourage here is you to take your towel or your blanket and unfold it a little bit to make yourself a little ledge to sit up on. So sit the hips up, and I'm going to face forward for this, and I will mirror you. So we're going to start with extending the left leg out. So left leg comes out in front, right knee bends, and plant the right sole of the foot inside that left knee. Now, under the right knee, you can just let it drop, or maybe take one of your paper towel rolls and set it down. And then we're going to take our other paper towel roll, and we might want our pillow for this. I'm going to use my pillow. I'm going to place the pillow on the bottom. I'm going to stack the paper towel roll on top of it. And we're going to come forward, and we're going to come into our half butterfly pose, stretching over our left leg. So come into any degree that feels good. So start to come forward. When you find that place to feel that feels good, then we'll release our head down and breathe here. We're going to be here for about 2.5 minutes. So I'll let you know when we're halfway done and you can make any adjustments you need. But just get comfortable and let it all go. And if you can, flip your palms, soften your shoulders, and deeply breathe. Scan through your body. What can you relax? What can you soften? You want to come in a little deeper. Maybe you take the support under your head and lower it down a little bit, or not. This feels a little too low for me, so I'm going to actually prop myself back up and just listen to the body. Following your breathing. And we'll bring the hands down right under the shoulders. Begin to lift yourself up. Move the props to the side for a moment. And then we'll bend the knees, plant the feet on the mat, lean yourself back, and just rock your knees a little side to side before we move on to the other side. And a little bit of gentle movement here. All right, and then we'll switch sides. I'm going to face the front of the mat, just so you can see my profile for this round. So again, keep your hips up on your support if that feels good. And then we'll extend the left leg out, then the right knee, or switch sides, whatever leg you did before. So your right leg is out, sorry. All right. And just notice this side might feel a little different. Might feel a little tighter. So again, I'm going to take my paper towel roll. I'm going to slide it under my knee that's bent. So sole of the foot. So my left sole of the foot comes to my right inner thigh. And then I'm going to take my paper towel roll and I'm going to stack it up on my pillow. And again, we're here for about 2.5 minutes. So sit up tall for a moment and then start to hinge yourself forward. And whenever you feel that sensation, then you relax the head down and breathe here. So left knee bends out to the side, right leg extends long. And if it feels good, flip the palms and breathe. Soften the shoulders and the jaw. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. And lengthen your exhale out. Try to find your stillness. And if you're feeling antsy, just notice, is it the mind or is it the body? And if it's the mind, just breathe through it. Make any adjustments you need, maybe go in a little deeper. I'm going to move my pillow a little forward and just come in a little closer to my leg, only if that feels good. Deepest breaths here. Slowly bring your hands under your shoulders. Roll yourself up. And then we'll gently come out of it. Again, coming out just as slow as we came in. So bring your left knee up, both feet down. Plant the feet, bring the arms behind, and just move the legs from side to side. All right. Coming into dragonfly, wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to keep my hips up on this support. So again, towel blanket, whatever you have. And we'll use our props here as well. So we'll extend the legs forward, and you want to kind of move your hips so they're right on the edge of the towel or the blanket. All right, now you're going to want, it depending on your flexibility, you might want to kind of prop yourself up pretty high, or you can come down to any degree. So I'm going to take my pillow, set it down, and we're going to be coming forward. So if this is not enough with just one paper towel roll, you can take your second one, stack it on top, and come in a little bit deeper. So kind of, adjust how it works for you, making sure that you've got a steady support. I'm just going to use one in my pillow here. We're going to be here for about 4 minutes. So get yourself comfortable, come forward, and I'll tell you when we're about halfway down, and maybe you decide to remove some of the supports, or maybe you decide to come out of it a little bit. So come on into any degree, and then relax the head down. And find your breath. You can keep the legs soft. Allow the toes just to flap wherever they want. Noticing if there's any tension you're holding here. And breathing space into those areas. Lengthening the exhale slightly longer than the inhale. And if it's hard to quiet the mind and focus on the breath, you can always incorporate counting your breaths up to 10 and then starting over again. Or even just repeating, I'm breathing in as you inhale, I'm breathing out as you exhale. Make any adjustments you need. Going a little bit deeper, moving my support slightly forward. Coming deeper or coming out of it. And then reconnecting with the breath. Notice where the mind is. And bring it back to the moment. Last few deepest breaths here. Press yourself up. Move your props to the side. All right, this is one of those poses that I feel like I have to come out of in extra slow motion. All right, so I bring my hands underneath my knees, and again, we want to come into these, out of these super slow. So just slowly drag one foot in, slowly drag the other foot in. Good. And then we're going to cross our shins, roll over into a tabletop. And we'll just take a little bit of movement here. So if you would like, you can take cat-cow. I'm going to take some hip circles. So if that feels good, you can just reach the hips back to one side, bring them around, and then bring them forward. Just a little bit of movement. Just alternating my circles. That feels good today. Close your eyes and move. Take 3 more cycles of breath wherever you are. And then our next pose, we're going to come into child's pose, not for too long, just for about a minute and a half. So bring the big toes together, walk the knees wide, and I'm going to bring some of my props to rest my belly and my chest on. So I'm going to grab my pillow and one of my paper towels, and I'm going to rest down and kind of pull it in so my belly can rest. And my head can either rest on my other paper towel roll. Now, if this bothers your knees, you can always take a blanket, roll it up, and place it between the knees and the shins, or you can curl the toes and come into that way, so it's not too much pressure on the knees. So again, come into it wherever feels good, and we'll just be here for about a minute and a half. Maybe play with flipping the palms up. Take a few more deep breaths here. And then walk your hands back in. Press yourself up, and we're going to come down onto our bellies. We're going to come into a back bend, Sphinx pose. Lots of options here, and we are going to be here for a little bit of time. We're going to be here for about 4 minutes. All right, so come on down to the belly and walk your feet nice and wide. Point the toes out, heels come in. Now, if it's too much to come up on your forearms, so here's Sphinx pose. We're going to be resting our head on the paper towels in a moment. But if this is ever too much, you're just going to come down and rest your forehead on your hands. So even this, even just laying on the belly, is a nice gentle back bend in itself. But if you want to come into it deeper, we're going to place the elbows right under the shoulders, and you're going to support your forehead. So if one paper towel roll works, great. Now, if this is too much to have the paper towel roll stacked all the way up, you can just place it on its side and rest the forehead down. You can take 2 paper towel rolls and rest the forehead on that. So it's really about finding what works for you. If this tweaks in your lower back at all, come out of it. So if you're up here and you feel this in the low back, you feel pinching, come down and lower all the way down. So I'm going to stack one towel up under my forehead, and I'm going to flip my palms over. And again, we're going to be here for 4 minutes. So once you get comfortable, just close the eyes. This is a great gentle back bend. If it's helpful, you can even rest the chin on something instead of the forehead. Make sure you're not crunching the neck up. The pubic bone will gently press down into the mat. You can even part the lips, let them hang away from the teeth. Release the jaw. Deepen the breath. Readjust as you need. Couple minutes left. And lower all the way down. Maybe begin to lift the head a little more. You can also play around with walking the elbows a little forward. Or if you've got the flexibility, maybe at this time you plant the palms and begin to straighten the elbows for a seal pose. Deeper back bend here. I feel this in my lower back, so I'm going to rest my forearms back down and come into Sphinx. Again, do what your body is calling for today. Lengthening your exhale. When we're stressed out, our sympathetic nervous system is activated, which releases a lot of cortisol into the body, which is our stress hormone. And when that's constantly surging, that can cause a lot of negative effects on the body. And the breath and a practice like this is one of the best ways to reduce our cortisol levels, activate our parasympathetic nervous system, really allow us to restore. Take a couple final deep breaths here. We're going to come all the way down to our bellies. Let's stack right hand on top of left hand, forehead rests down. Lift the head up slightly, place left palm on top of right palm this time, and then rest the forehead back down. Release the arms by the sides. And come up on the hands and knees. All right, next pose is either going to be going back to child's pose or coming into a very restorative down dog. And same thing as before, we're not going to be here too long, just about a minute and a half. Now again, if you want to come into child's pose, use your props to support your belly and your rib cage. I'm going to come into down dog, so I'm going to walk my hands to the edges of the mat, tuck my toes, and then lift my knees up and walk my feet to the edges of the mat as well. And then I'm going to grab my paper towel roll and I'm going to bring it so I can rest my forehead on the paper towel roll and hang out in a nice restorative down dog. So if this is not comfortable, you can just move the paper towel roll and just take a down dog. But make this a soft one. Keep a slight bend in the knees. Really lengthen the spine back. And if you're using the paper towel roll, you might want to play around with even just dropping the head and letting the head hang for a couple of breaths here. In our yin practices, we don't worry too much about engaging and aligning, whereas in our yang practices, we really want to engage. Here, just relax, soften into the postures. Last few breaths. Knees down if they're not already there. If you're in child's pose, come on up to hands and knees. Cross the ankles, come to sit back on the glutes, and we'll swing the legs forward. We'll come into a hip stretch, either shoelace or square pose. So I'll face the front of the mat so you can see my profile. I'm going to grab my blanket once again, and I'm going to sit up on the edge. It can feel really nice in most of our seated postures to sit the hips up, elevate them on something. Okay, 3 options for you. Either you'll cross shin in front of shin and come forward. If you want to go into square pose, which is called double pigeon or fire log, you'll cross the right ankle on top of the left knee, right knee on top of the left ankle. This is probably the deepest of the 3, and then you'll come forward. I'm going to take shoelace pose, which is also considered Gomukhasana legs. So I'm going to cross my right knee on top of my left knee. Now, with those props you got, we're going to use one for the head, but you can also use one to place between the knees, or if you're coming into one of these poses, if your right knee's up a lot, you can rest the paper towel roll. So let me show you on the other side so you can see. You can rest the paper towel roll between the knee and the ankle. So we'll be on each side for about 2.5 minutes. So find what works for you, and then you'll settle in, build up your props as much as necessary, and then once you find a place that feels good, just breathe. So 2.5 minutes on each side here. Finding stillness. Finding the breath. Our hips tend to hold a lot of stress, a lot of tension, and a lot of emotion. So it's not uncommon when you're in these poses to have an emotional response. If that comes up, just breathe through it. Release that tension. Make any adjustments. We're about halfway through on this side. Focus the mind, lengthening the breath, softening the body. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Gently press yourself up. We're just going to take some movement, gentle movement here. Bring the legs out in front. Lean back and just again, windshield wiper the legs a little from side to side. You can come down on forearms. That might feel good. Get a little bit more into the hips, more rotation in the spine. All right, coming back up and switching. So either left shin in front of the right shin, coming into forward fold here. You can come into square pose, double pigeon, left ankle on top of right knee, left knee on top of right ankle. Again, you can grab your rolls. Or I'm going to take shoelace pose, left knee on top of right knee. Ground both sitting bones down into the mat. Just assess how this side, maybe similar, maybe different, but just go with it. If it's tighter, maybe you bring yourself up a little bit more. Maybe you add another paper towel roll. And if this is your looser side, maybe you take something away. But again, come on in. Find where you want to go. And surrender. Notice the mind. Notice the breath. And make any adjustments as necessary. Halfway through here. Lift the palms up if they're not already, if that works for you. Deepest breath here. Release the tension in the hips. Physical, mental, emotional, anything you're holding on to, let it go with the breath. Press yourself up. Slowly come out of it. All right, move your props to the side. And we'll come down onto our backs. You'll need some of your props down here, so have them handy. And we're going to start by taking a supported bridge, and then we're going to do legs up the wall. But instead of using a wall, if you have a wall, awesome, head over to the wall and you can bring the legs up there. But what we're going to do is we're going to lift the hips and we're going to place our lower back down onto our paper towel roll. If you want to make this a little higher, you can grab both your paper towel rolls and place the hips down on that. And that actually feels really nice. So I'm going to rest here for a moment. All right, now options. You can keep the feet down or you can extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Now again, if you've got a wall near you, you can just place your mat against the wall and legs can come up there. Otherwise, just in the middle of the mat. And we won't be here for too long. Just reversing the flow of gravity. This is such a great pose for circulation. Can help with digestion. See, even my cat Sophie feels the relaxation response to this pose. Interesting, when I practice Yin Yoga at home, I think she really does sense it. She'll come over and rest her head in my hands when my palms are flipped. Pretty precious. All right, sorry, back to Yin. Just breathe here. Knees can stay soft. You can even bend the knees. Really notice how this feels in the legs. This is one of those poses that's great to do before bed. You know, if you're practicing this and you've got some extra time, hit the pause button and rest here for 10 to 15 minutes. Otherwise, take 3 more breaths. Slowly bend the knees. If you're on the wall, just gently hug the knees in and you'll move yourself away from the wall. Lift the hips off your props and then gently lower down. Slowly hug your knees in. And we'll come in for a twist. We're going to use both paper towel rolls for this. I want you to place one between the thighs. Bring the arms out to its T. Set the feet down. Now we're going to drop the legs over to the left first. So bump the hips a little bit to the right and then let the legs fall to the left. And then maybe you take your other paper towel roll and support the outside of the left thigh as you gaze over your right shoulder. Now, if you want to go deeper, and I'm actually going to go a little deeper, but if you want to go deeper, you can move your props and you can wrap your right knee over your left knee. And then again, gaze off over the right shoulder if that feels okay on the neck. We'll be here for about a minute and a half. Continue with lengthening your exhale. Releasing any tension. Deepest breaths here. Slowly bring the chin back to center, bring the legs back to center, and we'll switch sides. So you can keep the paper towel roll between the knees and let the knees fall to the right as you bump the hips to the left, or you can cross the left knee on top of the right knee and come into your twist here. And again, maybe take the paper towel roll and rest it underneath the right leg as well. And just wring it all out. Deepest breaths. And we'll make our way into our final resting pose. And since you've got your paper towel rolls, I'm going to suggest that you put these under the knees or the shins or the ankles. And I'm going to take my pillow and rest it under the head, which I don't normally do in Shavasana, but we got our props, so might as well use them. Make yourself really comfortable. And then palms up, body heavy, eyes closed. Take a big breath here. And as you exhale, let it all go. Quiet minds, quiet bodies, Shavasana, rest. Feel free to stay here as long as you would like. If you're ready to move on, take a slightly deeper breath. And bring some movement back into the body. Fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. Stretch the arms overhead. Hug the knees in. Roll off to one side. Pause here for a moment. Come back to your intention. And thank yourself for showing up. Slowly press yourself up to seated. So, all right. Sit yourself up tall. Palms together in front of the heart. Eyes closed. Take a moment to notice how you feel in your body. Lift the heart up. Bow the head in. Thank you so much for letting me share my practice. Namaste. Yeah, my name is Lindsay Silver. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. If you have any comments, any suggestions you'd like to see for next week, please put them in the comments section. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you back on your mats and hope you're feeling nice and relaxed and restored. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.